Did Grandma and Grandpa ever give you one of these? You know, the old-timey $1 bills with the blue seal instead of the green one? Well, they're called silver certificates, and I bet you've got one hiding in a sock drawer somewhere, or maybe you carry one around in your wallet for good luck. Well, if you do, you want to keep watching this video because I'm going to show you that your $1 blue seal silver certificate could be worth a heck of a lot more than $1. Hello everybody, Silver Picker here, and in today's video, I'm going to be showing you which of these $1 blue seal silver certificates are worth big bucks and which ones you'd be better off just using as a bookmark. First off, silver certificates are not nearly as rare as you think, even though you've probably never seen them in circulation before. They were actually produced on a yearly basis from 1928 through 1964 in the hundreds of millions. Though most silver certificates you encounter will be worth just a little bit more than face value. I'm talking like $1.50 or maybe $2 at most. I mean, this one's not worth more than a couple bucks. But there are some that can be worth many thousands of times face value, and those are dependent on 4 different attributes. That is rarity, serial number, condition, and a 4th one that I'll call specialty, and there's more to come on that later. Now, before we get into how those 4 attributes can make your silver certificate worth insane amounts of money, let's talk about what exactly is a silver certificate. Well, silver certificates were produced in the United States during a time when the US was on the gold standard, meaning that every single bill that was in circulation was a representation of real physical gold in the US Treasury, and you could actually take those bills and exchange them for physical gold. Well, in the 1870s, the silver industry started pressuring Congress, or lobbying Congress, to get the US to be on more of a bimetallic standard so that silver would be important as well. And with the passage of the Bland-Allison Act in the late 1870s, well, they accomplished that, and the US agreed to purchase millions of dollars a month from gold mines out west in the United States, and with that mint millions and millions of silver dollars. So they decided to also print these silver certificates to make commerce easier, right? Instead of having to lug around a giant bag full of silver dollars, you could take these convenient lightweight dollar bills and use them in commerce. And if you so desired, you could take them to the Treasury and exchange them for 1 silver dollar. This practice remained in effect until the late 1960s when these bills were just monetized as regular dollar bills, and though you can still spend these as regular $1 bills, you can no longer exchange them for physical silver. Now, silver certificates can be broken down into 2 major categories: large size and small size notes. Prior to 1928, all US banknotes were of the large size variety, and looking at them today, you might not even recognize them as currency at all. So we're going to leave those for a separate video and only focus on the small size. Now, back to those 4 attributes that affect the value of these silver certificates. We'll start with rarity. Rarity is based effectively on 2 things: the print run of a bill, meaning how many of those bills were printed, and then how many of those bills still exist today. Meaning that even if in 1850 there were millions and millions and millions of a particular bill printed, but all those years that passed only a few survived, that bill would still be considered quite rare and therefore would likely be very valuable. Now, rarity affects the value of a bill, but the serial number printed on it arguably affects it even more. Now, I did an entire video on rare serial numbers and how those can be incredibly valuable, and you can check that out in the card over here if you missed it, but for now I'll still give you some of the basics. What makes a serial number rare, or fancy as we call it in the biz, is whether there's something unusual or interesting going on in the numbers. So for example, super low serial numbers like 0000001 or super high serial numbers like 9999999 are really, really rare and therefore valuable. Same thing goes for serial numbers that have interesting patterns, or ladders like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or even solids, which is just one brick of the same number, like 8888, 8888. The 3rd attribute that affects value is condition, and I think that one's pretty obvious, right? Like a crisp, mint, pristine bill similar to this one is definitely going to be worth more than a crumpled up, folded one like this one. We'll come back to that 4th specialty attribute later in the video because it is super, super interesting. But for now, I want to give you a sense of what the heck I'm talking about when I say that these $1 silver certificates can go for big bucks if they have one of those first 3 attributes. So we're going to take a look at some real auction history and show what some of these bills sold for at auction in real life recently to show you just how much they can actually go for. for. Again, we'll start with rarity. The 1935 series and the 1957 series are the most common by far, and often they don't have much of a premium. This, however, is a 1928 silver certificate, which is nicknamed the funny back because, well, the back looks like carnival money, and it sells for like 25 bucks in this condition. Maybe more, maybe less, but nothing crazy. However, if it's a star note and from the 1928 D series, then it's super, super rare. Very few of this bill remain in existence. I'm talking like less than 25, and it sells for huge money. This one, with a pretty low condition grade of just 25 or very fine, sold for over $8,000. Yes, a $1 bill that's less than 100 years old sold for over 8,000 bucks. But a silver certificate doesn't have to be from the elusive 1928 D series in order for it to be worth a lot of money. A fancy enough serial number will do the trick. This is a bill from 1957, which is the absolute most common silver certificate there is. Typically, circulated examples sell for less than $2. This one, however, has a super fancy serial number, solid 8s, and it's sold for a whopping 8,700 smackaroos. And this one, also in 1957, with the super low serial number of just 1, sold for over 8 grand as well. But with attribute number 3, as they say, condition is king. This 1957 bill is literally the most common silver certificate you can get. 1957 A series with a totally non-fancy serial number. But it happens to have graded out at a perfect 70. Yes, a reminder, grading is on a scale of 1 to 70 when it comes to currency and coins, not out of 100. So this 70 grade is considered a perfect conditioned note, and it sold for almost $7,000. Again, this note in circulated condition would be worth about $1.50. So if you've got a nice crisp silver certificate sitting at home, you might be in for a serious cash windfall. Now, of course, you can mix and match. And at the end of this video, I'm going to be showing you an example of the highest ever sold silver certificate at Heritage Auctions that is both from a super rare series and a super high condition. And let's just say you better be sitting down when you watch that. Also, if you're enjoying the video, I make videos like it all the time, so you best hit that big ol' red subscribe button and join the fun. And while you're down there, do me the ultimate YouTube solid and hit that like button. You don't realize how much it helps me for such little effort on your part. Now let's get back to that fourth attribute that affects the value of these bills. Specialty bills. I'm going to cover 3 different specialty bills in this video, but if you think I missed any, put them in the comments below and let us all know. The first type of specialty silver certificates that I want to talk about are ones that do not have a blue seal, but instead have a brown seal or a yellow seal. These 2 bills have a fascinating history. They were produced during World War II for the Pacific and North African theaters. The US was worried that the Axis powers could capture our soldiers or territory and use our own money against us. So they issued these brown seal silver certificates with the overstamp of Hawaii in, well, obviously Hawaii, and issued these yellow seal notes to soldiers in North Africa. This way, if these bills ever fell into enemy hands en masse, with the stroke of a pen, Congress could easily demonetize these bills, rendering them worthless. But they are not worthless today, no sir. This Hawaii note sold on eBay for nearly $500, and this North Africa note sold for over $500. Now imagine finding one of these Hawaii or North Africa notes in a perfect 70 or with a fancy serial number. Mind blown. The second type of specialty silver certificates are what are called experimental notes, or R and S notes. These are super cool because these notes were part of an experiment conducted by the Bureau of Engraving and Printing. They wanted to try out a new type of paper and see how it held up in circulation. So the bills with an S on the front are this new special paper, and the ones marked with R for regular are part of the control group. My pair are only worth a couple $100 in their worn condition, but good, beautiful, pristine specimens can go for insane sums. This R and S pair sold for over $2,000, but it gets crazier. This R alone, that also happens to be a star note, sold for more than $17,000. insane. The last type of specialty silver certificate that I want to talk about are errors. That means any bill that was damaged or misprinted during the production process could be worth a ton of money. This bill with a mismatched serial number sold on eBay just last month for $1,300. Check your serial numbers, boys and girls. Now, I told you that I would show you the highest ever selling $1 silver certificate that sold at Heritage Auctions ever, and I promised you that it would blow your mind, and it will. So I'm gonna show you that right now, and then right after, I'm gonna share with you some tips and tricks on how you can maximize the value that you sell your silver certificate bill for if you have one in your possession, or if you ever encounter one throughout your journey of life. So this silver certificate is both rare and pristine. It is from the ultra rare 1928D series that we talked about earlier, and it has a grade of 66 out of 70. And it sold for nearly $100,000. $100,000 is 100,000 times face value. Yeah, I told you should be sitting down for this one. Now, if you were so lucky to find such a bill, or you had one sitting luckily in your underwear drawer, so what do you do with it? Well, you're in luck because you're already ahead of the game because you watched this video. You have me as a resource. If you have such a bill, you can email me a picture of the bill and ask questions at thesilverpicker@gmail.com, or you can DM me on Instagram at thesilverpicker, and you should probably be following me there anyway, but you can send me pictures and we can come up with a sales strategy together that'll maximize the amount that you can make off of these bills. But the short general version is that if you have a silver certificate worth less than $250, I'd recommend just selling it on eBay. It's easy, it's quick, it's convenient, and you only pay a small premium. But if you have a bill that's worth more than $250, I'd recommend having it graded by a company like PMG and then sold at a more prestigious auction like Heritage Auctions. If you like this video, I've got a lot more in the series, including this one in the card over here, in which I tell you about $2 bills that could be hiding in your wallet that are worth tons of money. So start watching the series, watch the videos, enjoy them, soak it in, and then get out there, start hunting for those bills, make some money, and until next time, Silver Picker out. A huge, huge thank you to all of my wonderful patrons. A huge thank you for helping me teach people all over the world about this amazing hobby. If you're not yet a patron and you'd like to support my mission, the links are below, and I can't wait to meet you personally in our private Discord server.